and they're off.
Andrew, tell us about what Further Faster meant to you when you bought something from Further Faster.
It meant that my wife got new hiking boots for her Milford track walk next year, which she is super excited about and has got her really motivated.
And tell me, were you intoxicated with the array of delectable trail running goodness in the internet?
I'm too scared to look because I know that we need to go and visit, and I'm also scared to walk in the shop because maybe I'll just leave my cards at home, leave my phone at home, and just browse, just browsing.
So when Eugene and I were last there, that actually happened. A guy came in, he'd driven from the West Coast to buy like this super Gucci tent. He left his wallet in the car because I saw him go across the road to the car and went in to just make sure and sort of sat down and talked to them. They've just had their mega sale from the 31st to the 15th, so it has finished. But still, check out furtherfaster.co.nz because that would have just scratched the veritable surface. Incredible stuff. We're big fans. The best independently owned outdoor store in the known universe. Head over to Further Faster, 57A Buchan Street, Aotearoa, Christchurch, or hit them up at furtherfaster.co.nz.
It goes something like Further Faster, they're in Christchurch. Rocky is hairy and so is Badger. Jules is nice and Jacob is delicious. Go to Further Faster now.
Oh, Further Faster, they're in Christchurch. Rocky is hairy and so is Badger. Jules is nice and Jacob is delicious. Go to Further Faster now.
Dirt Church Radio.
Episode 351 of the Dirt Church Radio Trail and Ultramarathon podcast. I'm Matt Raymond.
I'm Ali Pottinger.
And I'm Andrew McDowell.
It's nice to see you, buddies. It's been a minute. What have we all been up to? Do we want to talk about what we've been up to, or do we really want to talk about the Guardian article that you read this morning, Andrew, which is titled, "Are They Going to Eat Me Alive? Trail runners become prey in a newest form of hunting." And I'm not talking about drunk bogans illegally deer shooting in Riverhead. I'm talking about what?
I quite like this. Now, first of all, I don't believe it is new, but it feels new. It's kind of doing the rounds at the moment, but there's definitely some people out there saying, this has been around for decades, what are you talking about? However, I love the idea that in England, they've got all these rules or laws that are coming in that are stopping hunting in general. A long time tradition of the English countryside. They'd sort of figured out a way to sort of keep the spirit alive, I guess, is instead of wild game, they're just getting runners and saying, right, off you go. First of all, the dogs smell them, get their scent. And apparently that's quite hard out. Like if you're not used to it, all these dogs just running towards you, but they're like so well trained. And then you get a head start, you run off into the bush and you're told, don't take any of the normal trails or even just go bush. And then just try and see how long you can last until the dogs find you. We've been assured that they don't like tear you to shreds or anything. They just find you and they go, hi. But I like the idea. It all sounds like pretty good fun. And I imagine some runners would probably look at it and think, bet I could do 2 hours. You know, like I bet there'd be a little bit of competition there. At the moment, it sounds like just a bit of fun, but I don't know. I like it.
Yeah, that is the niche sport. That's probably the appendix of our sport that we could remove.
B12,
because someone will ruin it. It'll be the new X brand dog running shoe. It's taken on board this kind of like everything about it's quite dystopian. Running Man, or there's the kind of the bell curve.
Oh, yeah, there's that new movie coming out, isn't there?
Yeah, which is the old movie, Running Man, but it's that dystopian element. Or that kind of weirdo element of rich dudes hunting poor people in the woods, which that probably...
Oh, God.
That actually probably is rich dudes hunting slightly less rich people in the woods just with their dogs and no one dies at the end.
Yeah, it looks pretty toffee, shall we say.
It's almost like something that Laz Lake would dream up, hey? Like you can't take any of the tracks. It's just through the bush and I'm going to release a bunch of dogs after you. What's your head start, do you reckon?
I don't know. I imagine it varies.
They'd have to give you quite a while, I reckon.
It depends how long. They do several, like you don't just do once and then everyone goes home. You do it several times. So I think it's, oh, we got you, right, off you go again. Oh, we got you, off you go again. Quite the day. I think the dogs probably have the most fun out of anyone.
Yeah, I think that I'm personally glad in that context that, what do they hunt? Foxes, hares? That's quite foxes. A nasty end. Yeah. For the animal concerned.
My knowledge of English countryside animal hunting is fairly limited.
Yeah, I'd be into it. And it sort of brings in that kind of the born to run reader in me, like, humans evolved and we can, you think about the subsistence hunt where they just chase an animal to death, essentially. Yeah, I'd be keen to give that a go. Ellie, What about you?
Put a pin in
See,
it.
I'm a bit like, I think I'd probably be a bit frightened because I've been chased by a dog, well, almost like semi-attacked by a dog when I was out running. And so it was quite frightening, like when you've got this dog baring its teeth at you. So you'd really want to know that they were very friendly dogs. The side of it that I do find interesting would be the illusion point of it. So like, running through creeks to try and get them to lose your scent and that sort of stuff would be pretty fun. The kind of tactical side of it. But then you'd need the terrain that would allow that as well. So I think that side of it would be fun. The idea of a whole bunch of dogs chasing me barking, quite frightening.
Frightening.
I could think of better ways to spend I run because I like to feel good. And, to be honest, a lot of women probably feel like that about going for a run anyway in the dark. Like they feel frightened because they're not sure what's out there coming after them. So maybe it's different. I don't know, but less keen on the idea. But at least they're finding a way to keep the dogs going.
I don't know the gender participation. I don't know if it's just all dudes after a rush. I don't know.
Sounds like a thing that all dudes do.
Yeah.
And you'd need to be careful. I mean, you'd need to make sure that you're at a reputable hunting place. And if they're like, could you just, hey, bro, that's, yep, cool. Okay, could you just put this on? You're like, that appears like that's a fox pelt. No, it's fine, it's fine. What about this? And you're like, that's a coned nose with a little black knob on the end. Yeah. Could you put this on? Those are antlers.
Some novelty antlers.
What are you spraying me with? Don't worry about that.
Is that
Cologne.
urine? Yeah, no.
That's the
and
Riverhead version, mate.
Yeah, exactly. It's the drunk bogans. But I also thought about. I read a book recently about Norway's resistance in World War II and how they would smuggle people to Sweden, essentially, in these trawlers in the nets, and this group of doctors came up. Yeah, they put them in the hold of fishing boats and just pile nets on top of them, which wasn't awesome.
No.
Being tortured to death by the Nazis was the alternative. So these guys get the nets, but they came up with this idea. These doctors got human blood and mixed it with cocaine and then dried it and would just sprinkle it everywhere. So these dogs would get on the boat and just go absolutely apeshit because, cocaine is cocaine and human blood is quite intoxicating, but it would just basically short circuit the dog immediately. So I reckon that would be the go. Human blood and cocaine. Dried human blood and cocaine, like the Norwegians do.
Brilliant. Okay. We've now improved
Next
upon this
level.
idea. Fantastic.
Yeah. Next up, there'll be like a X-brand human blood and cocaine utility belt.
You should be writing for Horse and Hound.
That's right. But we've all been doing fun things this weekend. Ellie, what have you been up to?
Yeah, I flew down to Queenstown to MC the marathon there, which was and the kids race. How can I forget that part of it? So that was awesome. So beautiful start line at Millbrook. There was a fresh dusting of snow on the mountains, and just stunning Queenstown. And somehow every year they get like a weather window that actually works pretty darn well for the race. I don't want to tempt fate, but good running weather. And then, emptied the start line, headed to the finish line, got hailed on for a little bit, which was different. And then
During the race?
Yeah, but apparently lots of the runners were saying it didn't get them, so it must have just been quite an isolated shower. Is it a shower? If it's a storm, hailstorm, isn't it? And then emceed the kids' race and got them off. And they are like, they go for it, eh? They're into it. So it was awesome. Then headed back along and went to the finish line, cheered more people in, and just cup filling good vibes. Like when you see the main street by the lakefront and everybody's just standing there like clapping and cheering runners and great big smile on their face, and it's just pretty neat to see humanity. You know, like some guy had painted this massive sign that had "You are amazing" on it, and he was just there cheering runners, and I was like, he's taken the time to do that and then to spend his time just standing there cheering runners on. Like, what a cool human.
It's cool.
Yeah, so it was a really, really nice day.
And a shout out to our Rotorua mate Robbie Hammond running a 250.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
He's a cyclist. He's not allowed to do that. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
He did so well. It was super cool to see him at the finish line. He was like at halfway. I was like, oh no,
Really?
I'm feeling the fatigue. I can't keep this up. And but he obviously carried on. So he ran a half marathon PB in the first half, and then gritted out the second half. So super proud of him. Super happy for him. He put in a lot of work. So good to see him get the result that he wanted.
And how long did they give the kids head start before they released the dogs at Queenstown?
The kids would probably chase the dogs. The dogs would probably be frightened of them.
I must admit, I couldn't have been more frightened if they had. I'd never been around at UTA when they did the kids race, so I've always missed every year I've been there. I've always missed it because of flights and or having done the night shift. And this year I got the chance to be on the finish line, and yeah, that was one of the coolest things and terrifying at the same time. You know, just kids, thousands of kids, and yeah.
There's no pacing strategies when you're 8 years old, is there?
No
pacing
it's full
strategy.
send, mate.
Full send.
Oh, see.
Yeah.
What about you, Andrew? What'd you get up to?
Oh, nothing particularly interesting. Just obviously it's taper week for Y2K on Saturday coming up. I did still run a completely irresponsible, fast and hard 28Ks on Saturday morning, the old Riverhead Death Loop with Gareth and Ant, and that was good. Good vibes, felt awesome. So that's, you know, how you can feel a bit like a week out from a race, a bit sort of not quite clicking, but nah, man, I was like, this is good. I'm ready to go. Let's go. So I'm excited. So expect me to crash and burn at 40K on Saturday.
I said a half marathon PB.
yeah, exactly. We'll see. What about you, mate?
I had the pleasure, second year running, of going out and course marking and then sort of being random operations person / medic / course marshal for the Aotearoa Afghanistan marathon. Now, you might be thinking, what? Because that sounds quite an odd thing, but our friends Faladi, Reza, Gul and Amina, Gul was the person who put on the Afghanistan marathon in Afghanistan. They are Hazara people. They lived up in Bamiyan. 4 years ago, they had to get a very small bag, and leave with their whole family and like pack a bag. Imagine Emma coming home saying, Andrew, pack a bag. We've got to go. And you're like, can I take my recording gear? No, pack a backpack. We're going to Hamilton to see if we can get on a plane.
Sorry.
No, you could. That's a funny thing to think about, isn't it? Yeah. So they had to leave. So obviously the Afghanistan marathon is no more, but these people are here and they want to contribute, and it's an opportunity for all people. Like they're really keen for Kiwis to be involved too, to come and run and come and celebrate Hazara culture, because that's the thing, isn't it? People think it's like that a place like Afghanistan is like a monoculture. It's absolutely not. There's so many different ethnicities contained within the space, and of course on Facebook you get the whole thing like, oh, can women run and canoe? Yeah, absolutely. So they're absolutely inclusive. There's a whole bunch of Afghan women absolutely sending it.
I can't believe someone said stupid things on Facebook. That's amazing.
Yeah, someone said stupid things on Facebook.
Wow.
But it's amazing. And that's the thing, isn't it? That's also that kind of idea that, you see something in the media and go, oh yeah, that's what that is. But absolutely incredible. Beautiful day out there. Long weekend. You're out marking and doing everything and shepherding people around. And yeah, it's awesome. Our mate Callum McGarvey sending it home in the marathon. I think 3:37 he did for a 42K gravel loop in Riverhead, or two loops. It was pretty good. So yeah, that was cool, and love being at grassroots events.
Yeah, it's so good we have that.
Yeah.
Next year.
Next year come and this is the thing, right? They're 2 years in. So it was, Sean Collins, Rebecca, Scotty, and me, and we were the kind of the outward facing. I mean, Mads and Annie Rose were there too, so we were the outward facing part. But the committee, the NGO that puts it on, Te Matanga Hou, just fantastic and a real testament to people being accepted into a space, coming into a space, and then wanting to contribute to that space and bringing a richness and a diversity that is really not missing, but like being on the finish line, and there's tons of people, heaps of families, like tons of people showed up, heaps of families. It smells amazing because they're cooking food over coals. They've got they've got super amazing vegetarian dishes as well. And just like there's a DJ just like belting out these 70s funk Farsi bangers.
Ooh,
because that's the thing with Afghanistan as well, right? Pre-Soviet invasion, pre-Taliban, it was cosmopolitan.
I've seen the pictures, and you're like, what?
Yes.
Really?
Yep.
That's amazing.
So what a weekend.
One thing I did forget to mention, Costa Cozzy was on this weekend.
Yeah.
And the FOMO was horrendous. Seeing the everyone just having, it's such an adventure. And apparently the weather at the top was hard out. Like my mate Stephen was saying, he was 150 kilometre an hour winds at the top. And that's quite a lot.
That's just struggling to keep on your feet.
Yeah, so people getting stopped. He had to stop at the toilet block up the top there for safety. So it was a bit of a crazy off finish for the people between sort of 30 and 40 hours. But most people got the full finish, and some people got the stop at Charlotte Pass. But nonetheless, it looked like just another amazing year. And shout out to everyone for getting out there and doing it.
Even if you're not doing Coast to Cozzy or Ultra Trail Kosciuszko, which is galloping up, just if you ever get the chance to go out there, it's amazing.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Just
go up in averagely bad weather because there's less people.
Yeah.
If you go up on a beautiful day, good luck getting a park.
Now, we have a bit of history with this week's guest, and I think they might be in a battle with Lucy Bartholomew for the most repeated Dirt Church Radio guest. But this is third time a charm. Hey, Ellie, what happened first time we spoke to this person?
First time, wasn't it not allowed to be released? It was all the
So
secrets.
that was like there is in the before time. There is an unreleased episode that I had not listened to.
Full of juicy details.
Full of juicy details and spice. That was.
But she's won UTMB now. Does that mean we can?
Yeah, I know. She's won UTMB now. There's also Ruth. We're talking, of course, about the Queen, Ruth Croft. We spoke to her from. Ellie and I spoke to her from Anansi, and we got half an hour in, and then French internet went, no, and
Il ne marche pas.
Yes, that's right. And it died, and we couldn't recover anything. And then she went to China, and we tried to hook something up. And but this last week, you talked to her. Where was she in the world?
She was in Greymouth, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, good old Greymouth. So I think she'd only just got back. She hadn't even seen Martin yet. So I felt a bit bad that we were taking. Well, I don't feel bad about taking Ruth's time. It's great if we can get it because she's a wonderful human, and it would be, an honour to chat with her. So anyway, she was in Greymouth, back home on New Zealand soil, and then about to head back to Lake Hawea. Yeah.
Fantastic. I haven't heard your conversation, but I'm so excited to. It's pretty cool. Like, she's pretty cool. And then you step back and she's won UTMB, she's won Western States, she's won Tarawera, she's won she's won the Triple Crown. Mont Blanc Marathon. All of those.
So
big
many.
ones. Yeah.
Old Ghost Road.
Old Ghost
Road. Yeah.
Outright, eh? I think she's won it outright.
Going to put it out there. She did win it outright.
She?
What a stud. But look, before we get to the conversation, with Ruth Croft, we should probably do this.
It's the greatest run ever. It's the greatest run ever.
Greatest Run Ever is the part of the show where we ask you to send us your greatest run ever. It doesn't have to be a race or a mountain summit. Might just be a run around the block, something that's sung to you for some reason. Send them in to us at dirtchurchradio@gmail.com. And before we start this one, just a heads up, it deals with the subject of loss. Rob Dawson writes, I didn't have running when my mum died, but I wish I did. Back then, I had road biking, Iron Maiden, and Real Ale. They helped. Real Men Don't Cry, charging along frosty country roads to 180 BPM was a perfect alibi for salt streams at the corners of my eyes. Like many young men of my era, I'd done my apprenticeship at the emotional bottling factory. This had given me the only tool I needed to address any uncomfortable situation I may face in the future. My mum had been a runner. In the 80s, she'd run a few half marathons and shorter distances. I remember playing with her medals that hung from the dressing table when I was a kid. Sometimes I would accompany her on my bike while she was doing a training run, my little legs pumping hard to advance my rally burner along the muddy farm tracks. As a child, running meant the annual school cross-country. For reasons best known to the organisers, it would take place on the coldest day of the year. I was not a natural-born athlete, and I was not a runner. The whippets would fly off at the start, then the rest of us would commence the Shea March to bring it on home, the only thing spurring us on being the fact that it was effing freezing and the Jimmy Savile-type threats from the gym teacher to help warm us up. I found running during the lockdowns. For many people, it was hard and marks a time of challenge and adversity. For me, it was the opposite. It was a rest and a reset for which I will be eternally grateful. In the lead-up, I'd been going hard, moving to a new area, buying a house, establishing a new business, and paying the bills. I was squeezing in workouts but leaving out the fun and adventure that brings meaning to my life. I remember saying to my wife that will never happen when she told me the rumour that the whole world was going into lockdown. Yeah, neither us, bro. 3 days later, I was proven wrong. The timing could not have been better. I'd just taken possession of some new plant for my business secured with loans. I had work lined up to make the repayments, then the party switch was flicked to off. This made things interesting. The anxiety of what do I do now turned into a sense of relief and space when the government announced there would be loans and payouts. I want to be sensitive to the fact that this is not the reality for many people. However, I appeared to find myself in a fortunate position. The business had been going well, so I had some reserve. It was looking like I would have plenty of work to do to go back to when things opened up. For the time being, the loans were taken care of, and I lived rurally so I could get outside. I owe many of the good practices that are in my life now to that time. I suddenly had something that had been lacking in my life up until then. Time. I set regular sleeping hours, prepared and cooked my food rather than buying it, worked out at the same time every day, read books, and found a love for running. My running was not born from a place of love. I decided to do it because I wanted a challenge. I'd always hated running, and I wanted to see if I could lean into something I disliked so much that I would enjoy it. Until this point, whenever I had attempted to go for a run, it would follow a typical pattern. I would head off, and after a few metres down the road, my heart rate and breathing would steadily increase until I felt the familiar burning in my lungs, leaden legs, overwhelming sense of shame, and I would know that it was time to turn around and head home. I set myself the lofty goal of running to the highway and back about 6k in each direction. At that time, the thought of running 12 kilometres was far beyond what I could imagine possible, about 3 or 4 times my longest run to date. I set off, and the usual pattern revealed itself. The fire in my lungs was kindled, and metallic saliva thickened in the back of my throat, but I kept going. This persisted for several minutes, and then a remarkable thing happened. The exponential increase in my respiratory and cardiac rate slowed, and eventually stabilised. I found a rhythm in my cadence. I was overcome by a wave of euphoria as I realised, wow, I can do this. I am a runner. I felt a lightness in my step, an ease in my movement that I'd never experienced whilst running before. This buoyed me on as I glided along the road, smelling the sweet air, hearing the birds chirping, and admiring the pretty flowers. Then, as if I'd passed through an invisible portal from the sound of music to the silence of the lambs, the molten metal was back in my lungs, and the lead was slowly filling up my legs. I was committed to my challenge. Echoes of Goggins talking about logs and boats bounced around inside my head. This, coupled with the excitement that I must be entering the infamous pain cave that everyone talks about, kept me placing one foot in front of the other, and bugger me if I didn't start feeling good again. I continued, and lo and behold, after a short while, the first kilometre was behind me. only 11 more to go. I managed to complete that run, and several more after it. What had been a source of dread, discomfort, and despair now became a daily practice. Running is now a thing I do, and I would struggle to imagine my life without it. My morning run puts a shine on everything in my day that follows it. As my enjoyment and appreciation of running increased, so too did the distance. This eventuated in me towing the start line at Northburn 100 twice. I have fond memories of my first go-round. I have nightmares about the second. I fully expected to blow up, drop out, or implode on my first attempt. Every moment that I didn't gave me a huge boost. I ended up completing it a lot quicker than I thought I might, which led me to signing up again. This one was a whole different kettle of fish. I had the idea that because last year had gone so well, maybe I should try pushing it a bit this year. Big mistake. I went out way too hard on my first loop and paid for it in the following two. The peak of my anguish occurred halfway up the death climb on loop 2. Due to a rolled ankle the previous year, I decided to use tape. I'd neglected to do a practice run with this tape, which was another big mistake. The portion of tape across the top of my foot had caused ligaments to rub against each other and become inflamed. Each step, after about 30 kilometres, felt like being hit with a hammer. At this point, on the death climb, I'd already been experiencing this pain for a few hours and had many more to go. My body felt heavy, I was feeling drained from the pain, and it was all starting to feel very unsustainable. In a moment of despair, I asked the universe for help. I got an answer. In an almost psychedelic revelation, it showed me the grief I was carrying of my dead mother and said in a sarcastic tone, well, you could let go of all of this. Then I did something that I had not done since I was a young child. I cried in public. Well, I say in public. It was really only witnesses with the rocks and goat shit, but hey, I'm claiming it. Until this point, I'd never allowed myself to do this. I'd always maintained within me to stiffen my upper lip, keep power in my elbows, and push any emotion back down. This time was different. In this moment, I was worn down. I was tired. I was in pain. I felt hopeless, humble, and pathetic. My defences had collapsed, and the hermit crab had found itself without a shell. I would love to be able to describe the torrent that flowed down my cheeks, the guttural wailing that echoed through the canyon, and the careless abandon that I released 19 years of tears, but the reality was that I just whimpered a bit as I stumbled up the hill, but it was a start, and it was more than I'd allowed myself to do in a long, long time. The funny thing is that it worked. In that moment, I had felt lighter. I actually felt like I'd put something I was carrying down, and I was able to proceed with a slightly lighter step. The revelation I'd seen much of my grief was much larger than the amount I'd allowed to seep out. But the small portion that had trickled out was very dense and weighed a lot. I remember having the thought, well, that was interesting, and then continuing on with the race. I'd been given a glimpse into a secret room within the house of my soul that I didn't know existed, and it was filled with old junk that needed clearing out. The remainder of the race continued in a typical Northburn story of things getting progressively harder, the questioning of one's existence, promises that I will never allow myself to do this ever again, and then eventually, the finish line. The speed at which you are never doing this again turns into, I reckon I could do it again better next year, never ceases to amaze me. I think it was less than 24 hours before the first thought of a return to Northburn entered my head. The final chapter of the trilogy needs to be written. Frodo needs to return to the Shire. The hero must slay the dragon and bring home the gold. Northburn still feels like the dysfunctional relationship that I can't quite let go of. I know that there is still some more pain just waiting for me if I can let go of my hope and self-esteem. I joke about this, but the truth is, I'm grateful for all of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The lesson I didn't know I had signed up for, the realization that I am capable of far more than I ever gave myself credit for, and the insight into my inner workings, I owe a lot to running. It's a friend, a guide, and a mirror, and I intend to keep doing it. All right, Ellie, lead us in.
And so here it is, our interview with the amazing Queen of New Zealand trail running, Ruth Croft. We are so lucky to have back on Dirt Church Radio New Zealand's national treasure, Ruth Croft. Congrats on being the epic human that you are, and welcome back.
Thanks, Ali. Thanks for having me. And yeah, it's definitely nice to be back on New Zealand soil. Feels like it's been a while.
Yeah, what's on the cards for the next few months? So you've arrived back, chasing the eternal summer.
Yeah, so just back on the coast for like a week, and then I'll head down to Wanaka, and we'll be based there hopefully through till May.
Through till May. Oh, cool.
Yeah. hoping to do some tramping missions and like November, December, and then not sure. I haven't decided yet race wise, but hoping to do Old Ghost. Yeah.
I feel like you read my next question for you, which was what are the races for you? Will we see you at Tarawera as well?
Yeah, that's the thing. I wish they weren't so close. Possibly at Tarawera and hopefully at Old Ghost, but I need to kind of sit down. Haven't put a lot of thought into next year, so I need to kind of sit down and plan what 2026 is going to look like.
Fair enough. And you know what? Like, can't blame you for taking the foot off the gas for a bit after UTMB. Like, how are you feeling? Like, you've had a bit of time now, a few months. Like, what is it? Yeah, 2.5 months. And you raced in China recently, didn't you?
Yeah, I feel like after it was pretty busy post UTMB, kind of a bit all over the show. But yeah, I did go to China. There was a Aotearoa event there, and then also the Ultra Trail in Ninghai. So kind of went into that very undercooked. I'd only had been back running for 2 weeks, so I felt like I was running on muscle memory for the most part. But it was good. It was good to be back in China. I hadn't been there. I think it was 6 years since I'd last been there. So it was just nice to be back there.
Yeah. So what's cool about being home? What's exciting for you?
I think for us, I think for Martin as well, life just kind of feels like it slows down a lot. I think when I'm over in Europe, everything's very focused about training and competing, and then when we're here, there's a lot more kind of space, I think, for backcountry missions, that sort of thing. And I feel like we have quite a really strong community down in Wanaka, and so it's really nice just to kind of connect back in with that. Life just feels a lot more balanced, I'd say, when I'm back in New Zealand.
Bit more social, or you a bit social in France as well?
I need to learn French, so I think I definitely probably be more social if I could speak French, but definitely in New Zealand it's a lot more social, yeah.
You probably know more than you realise. I can recommend Duolingo. I'm a fan of Duolingo.
Martin would disagree with that comment.
Would he?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, well, maybe it's the time to practice in your off season where it's a little bit less pressure and a bit more cognitive ability.
It's been like a rollover New Year's resolution for like the past 5 years, I think.
Make it happen, Ruth. Make it happen.
I know, it needs to.
I wanted to ask, when you kind of mentioned after UTMB being busy this year, do you feel like it was busier than previous years? And yeah, what's your take?
There was just a lot more kind of media requests, especially compared to the year before. And there are a lot more interviews, podcasts, that sort of thing. But it kind of quietened down. It was just like probably 2 weeks post UTMB, and then I feel like things really fizzled out after that.
Must be hard because you're probably so tired after the race and you've been working so hard towards this race, and then it's like, I just want to take a breather, and then you've got all this media. Are there moments that you're like, this is awesome, or is it a bit of a chore?
No, it was like, I think it's just all part of the job, to be honest, and you kind of was expecting it. And then I did go and do 10 days silent meditation, and so I was kind of like, I just need to get to that, and then everything will kind of slow down. And so I think having that after it all was kind of a good moment to kind of decompress and kind of reflect on the summer.
I can't even imagine doing 10 days of silent meditation. Was it harder this time or easier this time? Because you've done it before, right?
Yeah, I've done it, I think, 5 times. This was my 5th time. I felt like my mind was a lot more agitated. It took a lot more time to settle down this time, but I think that's just because there'd been so much like stimulation, I think, in the like UTMB week and then the race and then the aftermath of that as well. So it definitely took a lot more time to quieten down, but there's never, not so much resistance as when I first did it, because it's kind of like I know what to expect and kind of know the drill and the structure of it all. But I think it's really complements like training and racing in that, just to be able to, after a big event like that, to step away completely and just, be with myself. I think it definitely helps with the recovery process, especially for the mental aspect.
Yeah, I can imagine there's probably a lot going on in your head at that time, and then it must be quite busy, and then to have that space and then to have that internal talk. And do you feel like that actually translates to racing? Would you say that's benefited you from having gone through that process so many times?
Yeah, I think it definitely helps. Just in life is probably the main part that's benefited me. But I think I just find like in our day-to-day, we don't have that moment for reflection. We don't have that time alone. Or I can just speak from my own experience, but I feel like there is a lot of distraction or, yeah, we've got emails, people reaching out through WhatsApp messages, that sort of thing. And so for me, it's become really important to just have that time away from all that, because it is a moment of like deep reflection, but also, yeah, deep rest as well. And then also our minds, I feel like just like our physical body, they also need training. And so it's quite amazing that like the transformation that the mind can go through when there is no kind of inputs for 10 days.
I can imagine it must be, yeah, quite, one of life's big experiences.
Yeah, I just think Vipassana is like a big teacher on just trying to move through with ease and like not react to whatever comes your way. It's kind of hard to explain. It's probably better experienced than what I can explain it.
I'm curious too, right? Have you managed to get any of your friends to go?
I think my owl, actually, he went before me, so he
Yeah.
got me to go. My sister had also been. I have one friend who's thinking of doing it. And then there's been a few people when I've posted about it on socials. A few people have reached out saying like that's just the push that they needed to hear. Like I think sometimes with Vipassana, it's if it keeps showing up in your life. Like you hear about it, sometimes like marketing. Sometimes you hear about it so many times and then you get a bit curious about it. So, yeah, we'll see.
And I mean, it came at a time which would have been so needed, right? Because UTMB, like I've been pretty astounded by how our sport has changed when it comes to the media coverage that it's now getting, like Western States this year, UTMB this year, even watching World 24-hour track championships. It was all live streamed, so it's quite a different sport when it comes to coverage. And, how do you feel about that now, like having cameras and drones and phones and everything on you?
Yeah, I ran with Arjun a few days ago and we were talking about like, because I think I saw him at UTMB, I think it was in 2015 when I did CCC, and I was just thinking back to then versus how it is now, and it's completely different. It's like just, pretty intense that week. And just like the size of the event has grown so much. And then, people do ask about how you feel about the camera runners and all that now. But to be honest, it doesn't really bother me or it doesn't really impact me in my race that much, because I think, you just feel like it's only one race a year where it's like that as well. I don't feel like many of the other races I do are to that level. And also it's part of the job, and it also helps us as athletes get more exposure and that sort of thing. Because someone was asking me about if I like had noticed something, but I think when you're racing, you're just so tunnel vision, like you're just focusing on what you need to do. That kind of what's going on beyond that, I wasn't really paying attention to too much.
Speaking of exposure, I'm going to be a bit random, but does it make you worry, like if you need to do a jungle wee or jungle poo or change a top or anything like that? Like, are you nervous, like, oh no, someone's going to be filming me?
Well, that did happen because I came into Lake Ontario, which was like 30K, and it was like we're heading into the night from there, and so I did strip off completely. Like I took off my sports bra and everything, and there were a ton of cameras, but I just told them to go away. And they did, and the same thing happens in Queenstown, which is the 80K mark. Again, I stripped off completely, like I didn't want to have a wet sports bra on.
No.
Yeah, and again, I did tell the cameraman and that, and they all turned away, which I think is it's different for women, because for men they can just strip off. But I think luckily I'm not too worried. Like if someone sees like a bit of side boob or something, like, but I could understand for other females, they might not be as comfortable doing that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Because especially when you're kind of a known person or you've got cameras on the front of the race, like for me, I'd be fine. Like people wouldn't be hanging out that long waiting to catch me. But I do remember like when I went to Chamonix in 2016 being at Courmayeur and seeing people just completely butt naked and being like, oh, wow.
Like the cameramen are pretty good, like, because obviously there were times where I needed to go to the toilet and you just tell them and then they go ahead. And then, so I think they're all pretty aware of that sort of thing.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's a long time to have that on you.
Yeah, I think the thing I've noticed now is that you are having camera runners with you because previous years, like the top of Grand Col Ferret would always be like, I think, a static camera. And then now they have like a mountain biker with you from that whole descent. So there are more sections of the course having camera runners or, drones on you.
Which makes it great for us as spectators being like, oh, you know, like you're not just getting this blurry glimpse of someone coming through an aid station. You're like, oh, I can see how they're moving and I can see the expressions on their face and all that sort of stuff. It's pretty cool as a spectator.
Yeah, I think because my folks were out there and we were talking with some friends who were watching it online and they were saying that they probably saw more of the race online than if they were actually there in person.
Oh, it's pretty hard to be a spectator or crew at these races. You know, the distances that are travelled and those kind of glimpses of people. So I can imagine, they would have been like, it's way easier just watching it on my phone.
Just stay
on my laptop.
Yeah.
Just
stay in Greymouth and don't need to travel across the world.
So it was obviously a fast race. Like we are seeing the races just seem to be getting faster and faster. Like what do you think it takes to succeed at kind of the top level on the world stage?
To be honest, I don't think this year was, for the females our side, I don't think it was particularly fast. Because when you take into account that there was the course alteration, like we didn't go through the pyramids, and I think just the weather played a big part in that. But for sure, I think ultras is kind of getting to a point where you do have to keep somewhat of contact with what's happening at the tip end of the race. I think you can't just rely on making up that time in the back half. And so, I've really noticed that, especially I think in Western states. But I think there's a lot of things that have come into play. Obviously, nutrition's one of them. And also, shoes, I think, have also played another part of it.
That's true. And I've got a funny question from Kerry here, which is a follow-up of this. So off the back of yours and Tom's wins at UTMB, Scott's approach with you both was to get into the weighted vest for uphills. It's now becoming kind of like, you know, the new cool thing when it comes to the training, you know, like remember the kind of barefoot running days? Are you the barefoot Ted of running now, like with weight vests, or what's going on there?
It's funny, I was talking to Scott the other day and he was just saying how he's also noticed that everyone's been talking about weight vests now and how it's become way more mainstream. And he's like, now we need to think of other ways to stay ahead because everyone's going to be doing weight vests now. But I think when you look
out.
You look at UTMB and what it was like just under 23 hours. Or no, last year's in 2024, I think I was, what is it? Yeah, just under 23 hours, and like 11 hours of that I was hiking. And so I think when you do that, I think it might have been even 13 hours of that I was hiking. So when you look at that, it's like, UTMB, you have to be strong at running, but you also have to be strong at hiking. And for me, the weight vest has made a massive difference.
What will be the next kind of stone to unturned for you then, Ruth?
Yeah, I don't know.
She's not going to give away that secret.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you either.
Damn it. Speaking about weight vests, I laughed so much because I remember seeing on Instagram, Martin, you dubbed him the downhill donkey, and he was, at UTMB, he was all over the show. He was working on commentary, crewing you. He got to call you in at the finish line, and there's that epic picture of him sweeping you up in a finish line hug. Can you talk us through what he does and what he means to you?
Yeah. Well, I don't even know if I can, put it all into words, but I think he helps me, so much, obviously as a downhill donkey. But he helps me a lot just in the day-to-day and even stuff with brands and that sort of support when I need that. And we always joke that his UTMB week is actually harder than my UTMB week. So he had stuff for Nike at the beginning of the week, and then he was commentating OCC, CCC, start of UTMB. And then he went through to Courmayeur, the 80K mark, and commentated like the top men coming through. And then from there, he switched to crewing me and driving my family around and his family around.
I didn't know that bit as well.
In a van, and my coach. And then he was at the finish, and then also on the Sunday he has to do all the interviews as well. But he just plays a massive role in everything, from not just on race day and not just crewing. It's all the behind the scenes stuff that a partner his support, and it just means so much for me, and I definitely couldn't have done it without him.
It's so nice just to see that, that pride and that support that he gives you and that he has for you. When it, like seeing that finish line, I was just like, oh, Martin. Like obviously like, yay, Ruth, but I was just also like, oh, I'm so excited for him, like seeing what it means to him as well.
Yeah. He's just like always there and helps a lot on the mental side of things as well. When there's like any doubt or anything comes up and you need a bit of moral support, he's always been there as well.
Because I can imagine he's quite a what's the word? He's quite pragmatic, I think.
Yeah, and he's a Virgo.
I can imagine that, if you've got any self-doubt, that he'd be saying to you, like, he'd give you the kind of the hard line or the facts, wouldn't he?
Yeah, for sure. And he's a Virgo as well. So he's like very structured, all about systems and being efficient. And so he's been really good for me, because sometimes I think I've done this written this in a post before, but I've been very kind of Kiwi about things and kind of she'll be right. And he's made me a lot more probably detail orientated around the way I kind of operate around racing and the crewing side of things as well.
So Martin's actually the secret 1%.
Yeah, probably. Actually, I've given more than 1%, to be honest.
Fair. When it comes to racing, it's quite funny because people are kind of saying, like, you've got a different take on racing to lots of the elites when it comes to not doing all of the races, and that you're kind of targeting an A race sort of thing and spending your time building up to it. What's your take on people who do a lot of 100-mile races, and what's ideal for you over one season for that distance?
I just think everyone's motivated by different things, and you've got to kind of work out what works for you. And personally, I always remember when I did Western States for the first time, Paul Lind, who's like Emily Horgood's coach, and his father was the original medical doctor for Western States. And so his family has been very involved in the race. And I remember him saying to me, there's only a finite amount of times you can go to the well. And I think, I've always found that 100-mile races take a lot out of me. And for me, it's all like I've come from a place where I've had to deal with a lot of injuries, and I just don't want to get back to there. And so for me, the healthy way of racing is doing 100-mile race per year. And I think it's going to get harder and harder to say do the double, like the Western States UTMB. Like you look, Katie she did it amazingly last year. But I think if you look at a lot of athletes who tried to do the double this year, it is a tough one to do back to back. And as the sport progresses, I think it's going to get to a point where you just have to pick one if you want to do well.
Yeah. I think that's it's being proven in the proof's in the pudding, right? And we're seeing that already. And I'd like to think it's not rocket science, but I can also understand I can understand people wanting to have a crack, but it must be tough to be on that start line. What is it, 6 weeks later?
Yeah.
Is it 6 weeks or less? 6 weeks later?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Maybe I don't know how people do it. And more, because I've just known how much Western States is, I've never bounced back well from Western States, and especially when it's a really hot year. And I feel like the training for Western States and UTMB is so vastly different.
Do you think it's just because there's a lot more running in Western States, or is it the heat, or what do you think the difference is when it comes to that kind of the recovery or spend from it?
Definitely the heat plays a role, and then I think there's just because it is a lot more running. I feel like I recover better. I don't feel as broken post UTMB as I do post Western. Yeah.
You became the first woman to win OCC, then CCC, and then UTMB. What did each distance teach you that helped you on the big loop this year?
So I first did CCC in 2015, and that was that was my first time going to Europe to race. And so I was very green. There was a lot of things I probably did wrong there. I think most people probably heard, but I cut off the straps to my poles because I remember Mael telling me how to cut all the tags off everything to save weight on the compulsory equipment. And then I remember looking at my poles and thinking that the straps was just extra weight that I didn't need. So I cut those off as well.
Darn it.
So I think at the time, CCC in 2015, I was kind of on the path to wanting to do UTMB. And then I kind of quickly realized that I was following the hype, not really, and I wasn't really enjoying it. So then I stepped back down in distance. And so I did kind of sub 50K for quite a while in Golden Trail Series. And so for me, what did OCC? I don't know, OCC at the time was, I think each race is just kind of served where I was in my career. And then obviously UTMB has always been a goal from 10 years ago, but I think it's taken a long time to build up to that distance.
What would you have done if you hadn't won UTMB this year?
I'd go back. Just keep going back.
Just I must.
I don't know, it's I definitely would be back.
Are you going to go back next year?
I'm not sure. I wouldn't rule it out. I haven't figured out next year. But I feel like in 2024 I ran the second half really well. And then this year I feel like I ran the first half really well, but I really felt like I fell apart in the second half. And then I just
did you? What?
Yeah, for sure.
Where? How? Tell me more.
Last 50K. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I did not feel good. And just faffed around with gear as well. I just, no idea. I feel like I wasted a lot of time with the weather conditions and gear changing and that sort of thing.
So earlier on?
Yeah, earlier on through the night, I wasted a lot of time as well.
But it sounds like it was worthwhile because you seem to suffer the colder challenges better.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely looked after myself, but if you were following me in the whole race, you'd be like, what is this girl up to? One point my jacket's flopping out of my pack, and then I'm stopping to put on thicker gloves, and I'm just wasting so much time. Yeah. I'm just not used to it because I'm always in summers, so I hardly ever wear a jacket. Yeah.
So what would you do differently then when it came to that gear?
I just think I needed to be way more efficient instead of stopping and actually taking my pack off and getting stuff out of my pack. And and that sort of thing. Yeah.
So just where you're putting it in your pack.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting because, like, honestly, looking at the live feed, you looked pretty cool, calm, and collected throughout. That I thought, from the bits that I watched, anyway. So it's interesting hearing that you felt like you felt a bit in the second half, and that the kind of the weather was a little bit tricky with the gear.
Yeah, I just felt like I was moving. Even time-wise, I was moving a lot better the year before in the second half, and I feel going out a bit harder and then having the conditions what they were, I felt like my body definitely felt like it started falling apart a bit earlier. So
it sounds like it's Ruth wants to put the good first half and the good second half together.
At some point, yes.
Okay. And what about Western States? Will we see you back there again, or what's your take there?
Yeah, I would like to go back to Western States. I'm not sure if next year will be the year that I do that. Again, everything's kind of up in the air at the moment. Yeah.
And it's tricky, right? Because those are kind of the big two. Is there anything else that I'm forgetting that I should be asking you about?
No, like I think a lot of people will just assume that after winning Western States and UTMB that you then want to do hard rock and diagonal defu.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
but I think, at the moment I'm still motivated by like Western States for sure, because I think the females, like the times have just gotten so much faster. And so I'd like to go back there. And then, UTMB is still, I'm still motivated by that as well. I feel like there's still ways for me to improve there too.
And I guess it kind of works quite well too if you're spending summer in New Zealand, summer in France, and you've got the beautiful mountains in both countries to kind of run around. It makes it a bit of a no-brainer going UTMBs on the cards.
Exactly. Like I think going to the US, it kind of, you have to be over there, you have to be in the heat. And so it's going and spending, I'd say, like at least 6 weeks in the US in the build up to there. And then for me, that means not racing anything at UTMB. And it also kind of Western States would kind of dig into the New Zealand summer a bit. I think you have to be a bit more getting things cranking a bit earlier on in the New Zealand summer versus if you're doing something at UTMB. So it's just kind of weighing up which one I'm kind of more drawn to.
Yeah. Oh, well, we'll watch the space with anticipation. Prize money and support for female athletes are improving, but they can still be a little bit patchy. From your point of view, what would make the biggest difference to women lining up for the first time?
In the elite space or in the general population?
I'll take both. Why not both?
I think, to be honest, since I first got into the sport, I think there's a lot more support for women and just in the trail running space in general. But I think I'd say for the general population, I think it goes back to what Aotearoa has kind of done. Like I think they've made ultra running and come across as like something that's achievable and doable. It's not this massive hard thing. And I think that comes back to the way they market the event, and then also the way that just leading up to Aotearoa, there's a lot of support for participants to make sure that they do complete it, and whether that's through you guys at Squad Run or like the seminars you have, which I think is just really bringing people into the trail running fold and supporting them as best they can. So I think like races over in Europe, I can't speak for all of them, but I don't feel like maybe there's some more support that could be provided through there. And then like for elite athletes, I think it would be great to see more support for athletes outside of Europe. I think like South Americans, that sort of thing, even like New Zealand, it's definitely improving. But if you look at an elite athlete from New Zealand, it's normally a lot harder to get sponsorship versus an elite athlete in Europe, just because New Zealand, we are a smaller market and a lot of brands see that. But I think it's cool now with Terex, we've got Dan Jones and Caitlin Fielder. But I know to get to that point, like you have to get over and race in Europe. Like even for me, when I first got into trail running, it was like funding trips to Europe myself to kind of get in that scene, which I know is not always accessible for everyone. So I think, yeah,
because I guess that's one of the tricky things, right, is when sponsorship relies on race results and competition, and you've got to go where the competition's at. But then actually we've got these incredible athletes that are right at the very pointy end of the best in the world. And to, I guess, you've got to go to the States, you've got to go to Europe so that you can make it viable.
Yeah. But I think it is like, you have to, I don't know, nothing's ever kind of handed to you. And it's just, it's really, I've had to work before, obviously, like, cleaning, that sort of thing, just so that you can get the financial means to go over to Europe and just hope that it all works out. But it would be great to see, I think, like more support for the countries that aren't in the main scene of Europe and the US.
Because we've got some very talented people and but it is tricky. It's such a long way to go, as you know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Do you have any suggestions on how you see it being better?
Gosh. I mean, I think that it's the rise of kind of that UTMB index and ITRA ranking and that sort of thing. So more races that are signing up to that to kind of recognise actually how good an athlete is. But then it's tricky if you don't have that other competition there to either, because a win's a win, right? So if you don't have somebody to push you to get the best out of the performance. So I think it's probably a good thing for those situations where you want to say, hey, I should be sponsored because I'm getting this number of ITRA points, or this is my UTMB index. Yeah, I don't have the answers.
And it's good, like even Tarawera being a golden ticket race, like it's awesome that we do now have like world-class competition in New Zealand, and then also Australia as well, like Ultra Trail Australia being a major last year. So I think there is more opportunity now than what there was probably 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's great because it's drawing that competition to us as well, so that we can go, actually, here we stand beside these well-known people, and here's how we perform against each other without having to travel. And so that I think it's a good thing for our sport, is having those opportunities, definitely. What would you say to women who are thinking about a race like UTMB? Because it's pretty daunting, right? Like most people kind of look at it and go, oof. And then you're thinking, just that's the course alone, right? And the terrain and the elevation and the potential weather, let alone the travel and the costs and all that sort of stuff of it. So what would you say to people that are thinking about it?
I would say find a coach or someone who has experienced UTMB or racing in Europe. I think then they can kind of guide you step by step through best ways to travel, deal with jet lag, like how to make sure your training is sufficient for what you'll expect at UTMB, and just someone to guide you through like aid stations, like crewing, gear, that sort of thing, so that when you do get over there, it doesn't feel like it's such a so different to what you were expecting it to be. It makes the transition a bit smoother.
That's fair. It's a bit less foreign and a bit more predictable. And I know a lot of people spend time too, like watching all the YouTube videos and all that sort of stuff to familiarise themselves with the lay of the land as well.
Yeah.
Thinking about sport, like we're obviously talking about future goals, what's your thoughts about like a timeline in the sport? Is this something that you've thought about? Like what does it, Ruth and running going forward over like the next 10 years or 20 years, what's your take on that? What's your vision?
I definitely think about it probably a lot more than what I used to. I I don't know, I suppose I compete against women in their early 40s, and I'm 36 at the moment. But I know that this is definitely not going to last forever. And I'll probably, will be ready to step away from this sport at some point. And I think that's why I started studying naturopathic medicine, so that, when I finish running, I've got something to move into. So that's always, been my goal, that, I know that there will be an end line of running competitively.
But then you'll still run for fun.
Oh, for sure. Like, I feel like it's just part of your lifestyle, isn't it? Once you're a runner, like, it's like, maybe I think I'll get to a point where, I think your priorities change, for sure.
And so naturopathy, where are you up to with that? Because I remember talking with you, was it earlier in the year, or was I talking with Martin about it? And you were you're getting quite close to finishing, is that right?
Yeah, so I've been doing it part-time for the past, I think it's 4 years. And then I'm supposed to be in Auckland full-time next year, which isn't going to work with competing.
Okay.
So I'm looking at transferring to Aussie, which will allow me to kind of do online for a bit longer. And then it also makes the degree a lot longer. But it's kind of the only way I can make it work with competing and studying still, without having to physically be at a university.
Yeah, that's tricky. I can imagine it's a juggle too, because you, like something like UTMB, you're going all in for a period of time, and then to be going, I've got assignments or exams or study I should be doing, it would be tough to kind of be trying to balance both.
Yeah, it's pretty doable, and I enjoy it, except for around UTMB, it just does get quite busy. So I ended up actually dropping a paper just for the second semester. And then, we'll pick up another one next year.
With UTMB, like, it absolutely blew up here in New Zealand. Like, it was actually great to see. I feel like there was much more increased reporting of your achievement, because I'm going to liken it, and I don't know if you feel the same. You're probably like, shut up, Ellie. But I feel like it's the equivalent of getting like a gold medal at the Olympics. Like, it's a huge achievement to win UTMB and to win Western States. So it's pretty neat to see it, hitting the headlines. Were you aware of how things were blowing up in New Zealand?
I don't think I never expect that many people to follow along on the live, because I'm like, it goes for a long time. But I was actually, the thing that blew me away was how many people followed. And especially, like, obviously I grew up in Greymouth, and the amount of people that, were ringing up, like some farmers were ringing up my brother, and they were following it and that sort of thing. So I think it was really cool to see how much support I got from New Zealand. And it really did blow me away.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Now I'm just imagining these farmers in Greymouth wearing a pair of red bands, chatting over a fence, like, did you see old Ruth on the live stream?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what your dad's name is, Colin's daughter.
Yeah, it's just crazy how many people tuned into it.
Oh, it's cool. And it's nice that we can, like, we're all excited for you and want to know how you're going. It way beats, like, I remember, I think it was it last year or one of the other years, where I'd woken up at 4 a.m. on a UTMB weekend, and I'm like just trying to refresh my tracker to see where you'd got to. So it's way better to be able to see a live stream.
Yeah.
Through your achievements and the way that you conduct yourself, I'd consider you a role model, which I can imagine you're like, oh. But with that in mind, like, what would you like to impart with people who are running or playing sport? Like, what advice would you want people to remember?
Just to enjoy it. I think sometimes we get too hyper-focused on things, and someone my sister sent me this photo the other day, and it's like a picture of like the universe, and then it's got like an arrow saying, pointing to like a spot on it, and it's like, this is you here paying your taxes and living in fear. And I just thought it was so good, because it's like, sometimes I think we just need to zoom out and not take it all too seriously and just love what you do, because like I said, this window for me of competing is going to be such a small moment in my life, and I think when I was younger, I kind of took it all a bit too seriously. And so if anything, I just think it's important to enjoy what you do.
And thinking about that, kind of having a balance to your life and where it all sits, what other things light your fire other than running?
Like backcountry missions is definitely probably, I love that more probably than running. It's just getting a good group of friends. I know, big statement, but getting a good group of friends like with Martin as well, and just going into the New Zealand backcountry with no cell phone reception. And I think I've got a good friend, and every year we've done a trip. And the first year we went to Greenland, and then the next year Japan, and they came out to New Zealand. But it's just an amazing way to get to know people, is when you get to spend like a concentrated amount of time with them. And I think that's where you can really get below the surface and get like, just build really strong friendships. And so that's something that I love to do.
Yeah, you get to have, like, I call them side-by-side conversations. It's where you, I think trail runners divulge a lot more to each other because they're not having to stare straight at each other when they're chatting. And it's the same when you're going for a hike or a tramp and that sort of thing. But then you get to enjoy. Do you go in the huts, or are you going in tents? What are you doing when you're doing your missions?
It just depends. Sometimes it's huts, sometimes it's tents, just wherever we are. Yeah.
And then what's the go-to? Like, because I always spend most of the time when I'm doing a tramp looking forward to getting set up. Like if it's a hut, like lighting the fire, putting your sleeping bag out, and then making your dinner. Like what's the go-to hut dinner for Ruth?
Well, yeah, Martin and I, we did a trip with a good friend Misha and Dougal Allen, and we were pack rafting. I think we pack raft out the Reese, so we had to carry a pack raft for the first day. And then we always go, if it's just an overnighter, we go heavy on, like, we make sure we have really good food. So
definitely.
Yeah, we have those wellness bowls, like the California bowl, and then we take some rice and that sort of thing. But Misha and Dougal all had kind of like the freeze-dried meals, and Martin and I were really struggling though to keep up with them. So we were kind of regretting taking like cucumbers and sausages and that sort of thing. But I definitely enjoy having good food when you're on a trip. Yeah.
I know one time I had one of those freeze-dried meals, and it was like it was some kind of fish thing, and the fish hadn't absorbed the liquid, so it was like eating a cuttlefish. Like I felt like a bird that had a cuttlefish in its cage, just like, ugh. And that's all you've got. So you're like, I've just got to eat this, but this sucks. So I reckon keep up with the wet foods, Ruth.
Yeah. And then some Whittaker's chocolate.
Always Whittaker's chocolate. That's do you take that back? Because I know Kerry's brother, when he goes back to the US, he just basically packs his suitcase full of Whittakers when he goes back. Are you the same when you go back to France? Like, what do you take back with you when you're leaving New Zealand after a summer?
No, I definitely do not have space or weight for Whittakers normally.
Darn it.
Does not make the cut.
Oh. Right, I reckon we do a bit of a quick fire round before we wrap things up. So are you ready, Ruth, for a quick fire answer section?
Yep.
What is your favourite section of the UTMB course?
But the part from Nuva going up to Grand Colferet.
Really? Why?
Yeah, because the sun's starting to come up, and I think it's a really beautiful section. And I normally don't do super well in the night and don't have great night vision, so I like it when day is coming.
Okay. I remember 2016 Becky Nixon finishing UTMB, and she was like, that ferret section sucked. So it's funny to hear that that's your favourite.
It kind of does suck as well, but I'm like, as soon as daybreak, I'm like, okay, I'm okay. I survived the night.
What's one piece of gear you'd buy again tomorrow?
An InReach.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's something I would buy again. Yeah.
They're pretty handy. You must be absolutely filthy rich now, are you going to buy the biggest house in Greymouth?
I think Cobden actually has the lowest median house in New Zealand. I'd have to check that fact.
What is the best trail on the West Coast?
Best trail on the West Coast. I'd say 3 passes. It's not a super formed trail, but that would be my favorite. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say you won't want to get off site because now there's the Paparoa Ultra
I know, exactly.
and there's Old Ghost, so you can't choose one of those because they just have to arm wrestle about it.
Yeah. I know. Got to be careful.
Yeah. What is the best 1 hour run in New Zealand?
Oh, I would say the Point Elizabeth track in Greymouth.
I haven't done that one. What's so good about it?
You got the Nikau palms, and then you're also kind of following the coast around a point. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Beautiful. There is. I know the what is it? The Pururari River at the end of the Paparoa Trail, and just the denseness of the bush there is just amazing. So I can imagine it's probably similar.
Yeah, it is.
What is one New Zealand race you'd like to see on more international calendars?
I'd say like Old Ghost, Paparoa, Kepler. But I think, I think they all stand on their own though as well.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people know. It's funny actually, quite a few people know about Old Ghost. I've heard about it and that. So, but then I think it's tricky because they are limited by how many entrants they can have too.
Yeah. And it's going to be the 10th anniversary this year.
It is. Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Are we going to see you guys there?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And you are running, aren't you? So do you have any goals for that?
I need to figure out my calendar. So,
Okay.
But no goals at the moment.
You've done a bit now. So what's one travel hack that you have?
Oh, I feel like if I tell you like my travel, you would not think I traveled much. Like when I went to India, it was like 2 days before. And I was like, because I was going to China, I was like, oh, I should check if I need a visa for China. And then I was like, I should also check if I need a visa for India. And then had totally forgotten about needing a visa for India. And you needed 72 hours, but luckily it came through like 10 minutes before I was boarding my flight.
10 minutes?
I know, yeah. And then I got to India, and before I went into the retreat, I applied for my ESTA for the US, and then for some reason there was an issue with the payment, and so my ESTA didn't go through, and so I was going straight from the retreat where I had no access to my cell phone, and then got to the airport to fly to the US and realized my ESTA had not come through. So I don't know if I'm like the best person to ask, but like...
So it's not a hack, but travel common sense tip.
Yeah, I would say just check visas.
Good advice, Ruth. Good advice.
Still learning.
We all are, hopefully. What is the best place to go for food and drinks in Chamonix?
I'm trying to think where we always go. There's a really good pizza place, but I can't remember the name of it. Or the Mountain Brewery there on the main street.
Okay,
they always do good pizzas and beers and cider. And sometimes they have a 2-for-1 pizza. I can't remember which day it is though.
Oh, that's a dream.
Yeah.
What about the West Coast? Where's the best place to go for food and drinks?
I would probably say Greymouth, Seven Penny or Monteeps.
Okay.
I'm not too familiar with Westport. And so I can just speak for Greymouth, Monteeps or Seven Penny.
Would you read a book or listen to a podcast on your flight?
I definitely would probably read a book over listening to a podcast.
And what's the genre?
It's normally anything to do with like naturopathy. And I don't really read much fiction. So Yeah.
Ruth is all about the hard graft. She's a true West Coaster. She's working. She's always working. None of this fluff for Ruth.
Straight to business.
Yeah. When Martin's crewing you, is it tough love or cheer squad?
No, he's definitely, I don't know, I don't feel like I'm a diva when I go into an aid station, so I don't feel like I'm normally having a pity party where he needs to have tough love. No, he's definitely a cheerleader. I think I remember like the last aid station, he was telling me, just to enjoy it, and that it was like my race to lose from there, and I was just pretty much like, I just want to get this finished, like I'm done.
Enjoy it. Let's just make it end.
Yeah. But he's definitely a cheerleader.
Did you actually enjoy that finish line?
Oh yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, definitely. I think you never really think it's in the bag until it's kind of, especially coming into Sham, I think I could relax a bit, but even like the last descent, I definitely was not moving well, and so you don't really want to get too far ahead of yourself before it's happened.
Because it's quite an epic finish line, hey? It starts quite, it's the finish, it kind of starts early, right? Like the people are lining the streets for quite a while.
Yeah, as soon as you kind of start entering into Chamonix, you come out of the trail, there's a lot of people. So I'd say it's probably like a K and a half.
Which should be pretty cool, but pretty tough because you're like, I'm nearly there, but I'm still...
No, I think when you got to Sham, it's all good, I think.
Yeah. What's your favourite thing about living in France?
Probably the cheese and the pastries would be my favourite. Costa cheese as well. It's so cheap compared to New Zealand.
I remember too, and like the wine, and we just went and bought like this goon bag of wine, and Kerry was like, "What? Why are you buying that?" And I'm like, "Because it'll be good." And we were like, "This is the best." It was so cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we noticed that, and even in New Zealand, we feel like food is quite expensive. Yeah.
What's your favourite thing about living in New Zealand?
It feels like life slows down for us. I think it is. I think that would be. And then also just like on the coast as well, growing up here, just everyone's super friendly. Like you go into town and like you run into people you know. So I think, a lot more. I think Kiwis are pretty open, and that's what I appreciate. Yeah.
Yeah, it must be nice to kind of come back to that social side and that community and just kind of, have a bit of a different approach to things for a while.
Yeah, for sure.
What is the next thing that you're excited about?
The next thing that I'm seeing Martin actually, because he left kind of like the Tuesday after UTMB to come back to New Zealand.
Yeah.
And so he's trying to get his residency. And so he did some time here, and then I actually haven't seen him since then. So looking forward to going down to Monica and catching up with him.
I didn't realise you haven't seen him yet.
No.
Yeah. That'll be a cool catch up.
Yeah, that would be good.
What's he been up to while he's been waiting for you to get back?
What's he been up to? I think he's been doing some hunting. And probably doing some possuming too. You know what he's like.
I do.
I think he's also it's been a pretty full-on season for him over in Europe with work, and so I think he's just having some downtime and kind of restocking the tanks. I think he's got a few more events with you as well before the season.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hanging out with him at Cozzy. Good.
Yeah.
Now the final one. Back at Tarawera, after Caitlin Fielder suggested it, we dubbed you the Prime Minister, but apparently now you have a new title of Queen. Which role would you prefer and why?
Oh, when you look at like the monarchy over in the UK, I don't know if I'd want to be a queen.
No.
And then I don't know if I'd really want to be a Prime Minister either.
No.
Can I turn down both roles?
You can. You have freedom of choice. Neither. There you go, Caitlin. Not yet, anyway.
I substitute Caitlin to step in.
she'd be a pretty good Prime Minister too, I reckon.
Yeah.
Or Queen. She'd have a good way. Oh, very good. Well, it's been a lot of fun chatting with you, Ruth. It's always good catching up, and I appreciate you taking the time to chat with us before you even go and see Martin.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I've said, we are all so proud of you and what you've achieved and how you hold yourself in the space and how you represent us good old Kiwis. So thank you for being the wonderful human that you are, and thanks for coming on Dirt Church again.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And then, everyone who's listening and that followed along, thank you all for the support as well. It really did. It meant a lot. And I'm super grateful for it.
Well, there we have it, buddies. Another week of Dirt Church Radio knocked out of the park. And thank you, as ever, to Ruth Croft for your generosity and, back in Kiwi. We love it. So, Andrew, you're going to get to sit down with Bradley next week.
Well, I hope so. Yeah, he's running the 50K. And because he once he heard I was running the 100, he was too scared. So he dropped down a distance. So that was disappointing. But that's okay. We'll meet another time for that. Look forward to having a good old chat about all things trail running. We probably, everyone will just get up and leave the room after a while because we'll just be going back and forth for hours, but should be good.
Have you not been to Wellington before? They do like a chat about trail running down there. Have you had consequence to think? No, that doesn't even make sense. Mm. Can you cut that out? Because
I don't know. I kind of like it. I kind of like it.
Okay. We'll leave it in. Have you had consequence to think?
Yes.
Have you thought of the consequences that you might just get bundled into, I don't know, at least some sort of electric vehicle? They'll put an organic Hessian bag
with a
over
double
your
espresso
head.
in my hand.
That's right. And you'll come to in the middle of the Tararoa Ranges and they'll be like, oh yeah, SK that, you poser.
Yeah, I do expect to get dropped off at the top of the SK and get told you now didn't do a sub 20. But we'll see.
You said it was easy.
Yeah, you said it was easy. The sun's shining, mate. Off you go. Yeah, well, yeah, sure. I mean, if there's time, let's sneak it in.
Sneak it in after you. As a recovery run.
Yeah, a little
that
jog.
Is some big talk, mate.
A fella did just break 20 hours for the full SK.
On your head be it, mate. On your head be it. Right. Well, let's get out of here and we will reconvene next week for the aid station. But until then, Dirt Church Radio is presented by me, Matt Raymond.
Me, Ali Pottinger.
And me, Andrew McDowell.
We're on all the podcast platforms, so like, follow, and give us a rating. It really helps.
We're on social media at Dirt Church Radio, email at dirtchurchradio@gmail.com. Remember to sign up to our Substack for a weekly newsletter and aid station podcast.
Don't forget to write in with your greatest drone ever. We'd love to hear from you, and you can read them on the website too. And thanks to our supporters Further Faster, That's It, Squadron, and our Substack subscribers in the DCR Aid Station crew.
Stay tuned for a show in 2 weeks when we have another great guest lined up, Mā te wā.